Hello and welcome to the Diplomatic Channel. I am Amarachi Ubani. Our hearts go out to those who've lost friends and loved ones in the plane crash that occurred on Sunday afternoon in Ijushaga area of Lagos. We're indeed sorry for your loss. But on the program this week, Charles Taylor finally gets a sentencing for aiding and abetting rebels in the 1999 to 2002 civil war in Sierra Leone. He gets 50 years in jail, which, considering his age at 64, is more like a life sentence. We'll be talking to a man who witnessed some of the crimes committed by the rebels and in the process lost both his hands. That's coming up later in the program. First, hundreds of Egyptians protested this weekend in Tahrir Square in an effort to capitalize on popular anger following the trial of Hosni Mubarak, who was sentenced to life in prison for killing protesters during the uprising last year. Egypt's Prosecutor General has launched appeals against the sentences. Speaking of hotspots in the Middle East, Syria's President Bashar al-Assad has denied he played any role in the massacre of over 100 people in Hula town 2 Fridays ago. Addressing Parliament on Sunday, the president described the killings as an ugly crime that even monsters would not carry out. The UN says most of those killed appear to have been summarily executed, and eyewitnesses say pro-government militia carried out most of the killing. And the British monarch marked 60 years on the throne with the 1,000-boat Diamond Jubilee pageant across the River Thames. The Queen's barge travelled among the flotilla of tugs, steamers, pleasure cruisers, dragon boats and kayaks. The London event was a highlight of the Jubilee weekend, but a flypast was cancelled because of the weather. We'll be right back. Now, it was a gruesome time for many Nigerians living in Sierra Leone during the time of the Civil War. One man who made it alive to tell his story and why he feels so pained, even though Charles Taylor has received a 50-year sentence, speaks with us on the program. So let's talk about how you came to live in Sierra Leone before the war.
Okay, I was raised in Abia State. Abia State, if you know Abia State very well, Abia State is a commercial town. Abia State has the highest concentration of small-scale industry. The way I was raised, we have small-scale, in our street, we have more than 100 small-scale industries, manufacturing underwears, children, men, women. Buyers were coming from outside Nigeria to purchase from Aba. But through the military area, there were a lot of embargo against Nigeria. These customers were not coming. So on my own, I chose to go to export to export these goods back to them who were, used to come to us. We are having customers from Congo, DRC, Congo Brazzaville, even Angola, Sao Tome and Principe, as well as Liberia, Sierra Leone, on the west coast. But during this military junta period in Nigeria, access to these buyers were minimal. So in order to enlarge our business, to sustain the business in Aba, and to also get, foreign exchange to do the business, I chose to go into exporting. The first country I exported to was Sao Tome and Principe. I was in Sao Tome. We also exported to Angola. We exported to Liberia, Sierra Leone. During that period, a friend of mine sent me a proposal for a business in Liberia. That the country just, they just returned from war. Sierra Leone is also returned from war. That there is a big market for our products and services. I said, okay. So we exported to Liberia. We exported to Sierra Leone. I was in Liberia the day Mr. Dakbana Gange Charles Taylor was inaugurated on that Saturday. That was the first time I saw Abacha 101 at the Centennial Pavilion in Monrovia, Liberia. But because of the Liberian government hostility to ECOMOG peacekeeping operation, because of assistance of the then commander Victor Malu, that the restructuring of the armed forces of Republic of Liberia must be conducted by the ECOMOG. Charles Taylor challenged that position of ECOMOG, and immediately there was high level of hostility by Charles Taylor government against Nigerian contingent of ECOMOG, which was led by General Victor Malu. The hostility increased to the extent that ECOMOG positions were attacked by MPFL boys, and you hear some of the senators, especially one of the senators from Maserati County, who always use the media to incite their people against Nigerian contingent of ECOMOG. And we said, no, this cannot continue. Acknowledging that President Ahmed Tijan Kaba was restated by the then ECOMOG field commander. I'm talking about Brigadier General Maxwell Kobe. So we said, okay, let's move our business to Freetown. Since Freetown is calm, the hostility in Monrovia has increased. Let's move to Freetown. That was how we moved our businesses to Freetown. Doing the same export, bringing building materials, building motor spare parts, building underwears, both children, men and women, to Freetown. So that was how our business moved to Freetown. That was how we started doing business in Freetown. When we got to Freetown, I approached the Nigerian embassy to ascertain the level of security and the possibility of doing business in Freetown as based on my nationality as a Nigerian. I was given the impression that there is peace, acknowledging that ECOMOG headquarters was located to Freetown, and Freetown was safe. Well, it was safe. So that was how we decided to stay put in Freetown, and we continue with our business.
Oh, this was before the war started. Was this,
Yes. Before the war started, before the invasion by the rebels. You know, the rebels invaded in January in 1999. January 1999. That was the time the rebels invaded. Previously, we were hearing about the rebels in Kono, at Northern Province, Far Kenema, Kono, Kainlang district. These are the areas where we hear about rebel activities. But rebel activities in Freetown, it was not reported. Just like where you hear in Nigeria, you hear about Boko Haram insurgents in the north. You hear about kidnapping activities in the far places. If you're living in Lagos, if you're a foreigner living in Lagos, you will never feel that such a thing will come to Lagos. So you see, Lagos is safe. That kind of activity is not happening in Lagos. It is in the northern part of Nigeria, or it is the far east, in southeast part of Nigeria. So that was the kind of experience we had in Freetown, and the kind of impression we are getting both from the Nigerian contingent of ECOMOG as well as the Nigerian embassy demonstrate that if anything like that is really occurring in the north, we should not fear of experiencing it in Freetown. So that was exactly what happened.
You saw the war itself. What was it? I mean, what were what was the scenario before the war itself began? What were the preambles that you saw that told you, this thing, the violence, the hostility was escalating? What did you notice?
Let me tell you what happened. When we were getting information that there are pocket of rebel attack outside Freetown. But what happened was that the rebels didn't engage the ECOMOG or in the system through a conventional warfare. What the rebel did was to infiltrate Freetown using men, old people, women, and children as shield. The rebel came into Freetown in the midnight. ECOMOG were still in their position. It was not through military or engagement. What they did was, the day they invaded Freetown, they went to a town called Calabar Town. When they entered Calabar Town, they woke all the inhabitants of Calabar Town up and asked them to move to Freetown. So what they do, that if they enter a residence, they will knock and ask them to move. If you have been to Freetown, Freetown is like Victoria Island, and this Calabar Town is like coming from Ekbe. So it is only one road. If you know, between Ekbe and Victoria Island, that is just how that area is located. So they were coming from Calabar Town in the midnight, and the men and women, they were trekking. They were carrying their loads, moving, going. They even asked them to start singing. We don't want ECOMOG. This was around 2 a.m. in the morning. But something struck me that midnight. I heard a gunshot. That gunshot was not normal. It was not sporadic. The gun was like, it sounded boom. It took another time again, it sounded boom, boom, boom. And the sound of the gun was moving. So if you heard it lighter, the thing kept increasing. It was not sporadic. You hear boom, and the sound was moving. So it was at that level I called my neighbors. I said, look, I'm hearing a strange noise. And this noise is common with rebels. And people were like, there's nothing like that. People were sleeping. And if it was a confrontational between the rebels and ECOMOG, then we will know that there is crisis. There was no confrontation. ECOMOG did not challenge them. The reason was that, as I shared, they were moving from Calabar town to Freetown. And they were trekking, and they were using women and children in drove, a crowd, and they were using them as ships. So they will be in the midst of those women and children in that midnight. They will be in their midst. When they get to Ekomok checkpoint, they will open fire on those Ekomok and kill them. Because the Ekomok cannot withstand seeing children, women who are trekking. So who is a rebel among them? So you can't even dictate who is a rebel. And they are not carrying arms. But the rebels were in their midst. That was how the rebels invaded Freetown and got to the extent of the Nigerian embassy. If you have been to the Nigerian embassy in Freetown, Sierra Leone, they invaded the Nigerian embassy. They said they attacked our embassy. That was the place where they had a kind of exchange. Before ECOWAS will even knew it, they've already got to Padamba prison. They've moved to Aberdeen. They were moving to ECOWAS headquarters to take over. By the time we on the radio to know what was happening, it's already 5 a.m. We started hearing that rebels have taken over Freetown. The Sri Lankan government issued a statement saying that everybody must stay indoors. That anybody found outside will be declared a rebel. And they are doing their best to flush the rebels out. That everybody should, in fact, they declared state of emergency. So there was no flight, there was no vehicle, there was no movement. Even the ferry that used to carry from Freetown to the airport, there was none. So the whole streets were deserted. So we are waiting to hear what really happened. I was staying at Kisi Bypass, Share bus stop area. That was where I was staying. And we are waiting to hear further announcement. So you have no place to go. If you know Freetown very well, it's only one way. By road, by sea, by air. It's only one road. So if you're going to go by air, you have to pass through Kisi Bypass Road and use at the upcon there, you join Ferry Junction, then you go and enter ferry and cross to the Lunge Airport where you can take a flight to anywhere you want to go. So that was how we are cut off. So we're also waiting to hear that the day is clear and that everybody should come out if you can do any activity you can. Already, it was January. Ordinarily, I'm supposed to come back to Nigeria for Christmas. But because, there are some of our consignment came in, and I was trying to make sure that we clear it before I return to Nigeria. That was how I got caught up in the hotel. Ordinarily, I'm not supposed to be in Freetown that January.
Mr. David Anyaele continues his amazing story to rescue and why he's so pained still by the government's response.
Art is a story. On Art House, we start from the beginning. The mixture of colors and the brushstrokes. The chiseled wonders that link art and science. The steps in each performance. The highs and the lows of emotion. The world of words, rhymes, and rhythms.
It's a revolution. It's the evolution of a people refusing to suffer and smile no more.
On every page, all the elements of a good read. Where else can you get it? Art House. Life is art.
Welcome back. It's the Watching Diplomatic Channel on Channels Television. Now we continue with our interview with Mr. David Anyaele.
You saw the war itself. You saw, the preamble to the war, and then you also saw the war itself.
Of course.
How did you get caught up in the war?
What happened was that as the ECOMOG was engaging them, ECOMOG told the residents of Freetown that everybody should stay indoors, that they are flushing the rebel out of Freetown. So as they were pushing the rebel out, the rebels were going house to house, looking for Nigerians, killing and maiming them. So as they were doing that, so the ECOMOG were busy, liberating, different areas from the rebels. The rebels were also retreating back to where they came from. I told you they came by road, and they were moving back, carrying their luggages, their wives, their children, all the people they captured, the people that were busy maiming people. They were also retreating back. So they got to our residence. Our residence is one-story building. I relocated from upstairs to the BQ downstairs.
Sorry, where were you living?
my residence at Kisi bypass. I relocated from upstairs and went to BQ. So they invaded when they came in that morning. That was 19th of January, 1999. They were shouting that where are this Ogaman? They call Nigerians Ogaman. They said, where are this Ogaman in this compound? Where are this Ogaman? They boo, 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 boo. So I told one of our boys that they should give them the key. They should open the place because they went upstairs to our apartment immediately. I said, allow them to take anything they want to take. They entered the place. They looted the place. They set the house on fire. In fact, our boys were inside the house when they set it on fire. They locked them inside that house. So, but one of them shouted, open the door for them, open the door, let them come out, let them come out, let them come out. The house is on fire, let them come out, let them come out. That was how they allowed the boys to come out and they ran away. So when these things were going on, we were still at the BQ, silent. They didn't know that we were there. So what happened that when we thought that the situation has stabilized, I jumped through the fence. It was when I jumped through the fence because the back of the fence is the cemetery. When I jumped through the fence, they saw me when I dropped inside the fence. So they rushed me at the cemetery and captured me. So when they captured me, they asked me, where am I going? I said, the house is already on fire, that I want to find another location. So it was then they had my accent. They said, oh, you're Oga man. Come. Let me show you where there are other Oga men. That was where they took me to where they captured Nigerians and others on the main road. If you've been to Freetown, if you go to Kisi, if you go to Share Bus Stop, there is a cemetery close to that Share Bus Stop. There's a street beside it. At that street, beside the cemetery, that was where all of us were lying down. They start interrogating each person one after the other. Who are you? Where are you coming? They look at my leg. They say I'm a soldier. They look at my leg. I said, no, I wear shoe now. I wear shoe to go out. They say, look at my shoe. That I'm a soldier. I said, I'm not a soldier. That was where the argument started. I started negotiating with them not to kill Nigerians in that place. We're not part of it. In Abuja is the military. The military, we're not part of it. So they're democratically elected. So we can't take responsibility about the decision taken by the military. That they should allow us to go. That we're not part of the decision to send ECOMOG to Freetown. We are not part of the decision. It is the decision of the government. We are here for business. We are here. They said no, that we should wait. Before I know it, they entered. They started picking Nigerians one after the other. In my presence, they killed Benedict Ebuna. Benedict was killed in my presence. He died. He was the first person they picked. His wife was there. His mother-in-law was there. His grandmother-in-law was there. They mutilated his hand and killed him. His immediate elder brother, Ima Ebuna, was also picked up. Benedict Ebuna is a Nigerian. He's from Anambra State. He was my friend. In fact, we partner in business. Do you understand? And we're staying in the same area. You see, his elder brother, Ima Ebuna, was also there. They brought him out and they cut his two arms. The blood was gushing. I was begging them and said, people should not stop killing. These guys you are killing had no hand in all this. They are not soldiers. They are not part of the system. We are all businessmen. If people want to take items, or you can go to the house where you have already set up, anything you like, you can take. More, you can go to the warehouse. Go to the warehouse, open the warehouse, take as many as you want, no problem. But don't kill anybody here, because we're not part of the decision to send ECOMOG to Sierra Leone. While I was begging them, they asked me to wait. In the course of discussion, the guy who was leading the group is called Captain Gotit. He looked at my face and said, it's like I know you. I said, where? He said, have I been to Liberia before? I said, yes. I said, I do business in Liberia. I have business interests in Liberia. I always visit Liberia. He said, like he sees me in Princeville area. I said, yes, I visit Princeville regularly because I have customers who stays in Princeville. And I've also stayed around Princeville. I've lived in Princeville beside the police academy, So he said, okay. He said, no wonder. I said, why are you doing this? I said, come. I took him out. I said, let's talk. What is going on? What is going on? Just explain to me. You must not do this. He said, you must tell me the truth. That they are coming from Liberia. That in their midst, they have Burkina Faso boys. They have Liberians. They have some that came from Ivory Coast. Because I saw some people who were speaking French in their midst.
The soldiers.
Not soldiers, rebels, civilians. But this guy was speaking Liberian accent, that said he knew me somewhere, I said, where? He said he took instruction from Pape. If you know Pape is the warlord, Chancellor himself. That's his name, Pape. So they took this operation, no living thing. That's what they are doing here. You understand that the Nigerians must be wiped out. But I should wait. Let's see what he can do to see how to allow me to find my way. I said, okay, I'm waiting. While we are sitting there, the other people were there. The young, small rebels, they surrounded us, carrying AK-47. 12 years, 10 years, 14 years, they all litter around that place watching us. As I was waiting, thinking that the guy is going to, grant me access to leave the scene.
Right.
It was there that I saw the guy running towards me. He came back with, said, come here, wait the Ogama, come. Put your hand here. Cut his hand. I said, what is the problem? I said, I've given you money, I've given you dollars, go and take whatever you want. He said, no, that if he doesn't kill me, they will kill me. They will not like to die because of Nigerian man. That was how I said, no, you can't do this. I said, no, you can't do this. He said, no, you ask the boy that if I resist, they should open fire on me. It was while I was listening, the small boy of 12 years old cocked his rifle. And he kicked me. And I know that the next thing is to open fire. I said, okay, you can cut my hand. That was how I put my left hand on his tool, which they are using to cut other people with the machete they used to cut others. That was how they cut my hand and cut. I was crying, I was shedding tears. They cut it.
What was he using to?
The machete. The one he used to cut Benedict Ebuna, Ime Ebuna, and others. That was what he used to cut my 2 hands. So when he was cutting it, I was crying. I said, okay, it's okay now. It's okay, leave it. I was trying to beg them so that it can be in a condition where I can equally stitch it back or work on it. They said, okay, I should bring the other hand. I said, no. How can you cut my 2 hands? He said, it is only when the Nigerian government see my 2 hands chopped off that they will know that they are serious. In fact, that they want to send me a message to the Nigerian government that I should go and tell the Nigerian government they should stop attacking them in the name of ECOMOG. That Freetown is not for Nigerians, it's for Sierra Leoneans. That they should leave Freetown alone. It was then that the guy wanted to shoot me again. I gave them my right hand. They mutilate. As I was crying and calling on God to help me, to save me, one of them said, why must I call God in this business? He ordered for fuel, and they brought fuel, and they poured fuel on me and set me on fire.
This is where we end the program this week. Don't forget, you can reach us on